I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. We start laughing because of the ridiculousness of this whole thing.
You're going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Oh boy.
So welcome everyone. I have got some updates on the It Ends With Us in Court saga that has been going on between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. I've been covering this since it initially broke out, so I should really just make a playlist at this point.
Blake, you always have a vision. So talk to me about how sometimes you were even the intimacy coordinator in some of those sexier scenes. Like we saw you.
That shouldn't be happening, by the way. I just want to be clear that you should not be the intimacy coordinator. You should definitely hire intimacy coordinators, which we did have.
Well,
thank goodness.
You were teaching Justin how to pull you in.
Where have you seen
that.
this?
That
I
clip?
actually just saw it too. It was on Instagram yesterday, I think. Yeah.
But I've also been covering it recently, where we had Blake Lively going to the Times, making her complaint, who was then accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment and orchestrating a smear campaign against her. Then met with Justin Baldoni and Brian Friedman, who is his lawyer, and him, along with Wayfarer Studios, basically them coming on disputing what Blake Lively had written, said there was no such thing as sexual harassment, saying that the smear campaign wasn't actually done by them, it was done by Blake Lively's publicist.
There's, Leslie Sloan, who's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit.
And she was actually backed by Harvey Weinstein, which isn't the greatest look. It isn't the greatest look in the world, but what's now happened is that it's turned into this great big PR crisis nightmare. And where we left it last, in my last video, Justin Baldoni is now getting ready to file his lawsuit against Blake Lively, and there are other ones as well.
I'm just going to tell you, you're going to have to wait and see. It's coming up soon, but it's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin.
His lawyer is basically saying, yes, we're gonna be striking everyone, we're gonna be suing them into oblivion, etc., etc. And there's now been quite a big focus put on Ryan Reynolds, who is Blake Lively's husband. And this is who I was talking about in my last video, because there was rumor speculation that Nicepool off the Deadpool v Wolverine was actually a direct imitation of Justin Baldoni.
I'd be fighting alongside them, but my calling is to one day host a podcast that monetizes the women's movement.
And that theory has not just remained on the internet. That theory has actually been brought to the lawyers, and now Brian Friedman is saying, yeah, I think that is him. And he's going to be suing Ryan Reynolds on the grounds of, trying to take over the film. And I'm assuming also because he decided, I don't even know, could you? Is that harassment? I don't really know. I'm not a law girly. But he does bring up the Nicepool thing. So maybe that's going to come into it as well.
He's used his power and influence to not only help Blake Lively take over this movie, but, he's used it, on Deadpool and to make fun of Justin Baldoni.
Do you think that's what he did? We have a clip.
What I make of that is that if your wife is sexually harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. You don't make fun of the situation. You take it very seriously. You file HR complaints. You raise the issue. You follow a legal process. What you don't do is mock the person and turn it into a joke. There's no question it relates to Justin. I mean, anybody that can watch that, the hair bun, the comment about the pregnancy. I mean, it's pretty obvious what's being done.
My whole feeling on that is, I'm going to be honest, the argument that Nicepool is in fact a caricature of Justin Baldoni, I wasn't wanting to believe it, but when you take in the podcast proposal bit, and also I identify as a feminist, and then talking about Ladypool, voiced by Blake Lively, scene where Nicepool gets used as a human shield by Ryan Reynolds, and you have Blake Lively pew-pewing him. That was done in front of a flower shop. So there's just too many things that are just too much of a coinky dink for me not to be like, So my whole point in this is that Brian is going to be suing Ryan Reynolds. She did go through this horrible time being sexually harassed, etc., etc. Why on earth would they be poking fun at him in the Deadpool film? It just didn't really make a lot of sense, according to Justin Baldoni's lawyers.
The comment about the pregnancy, I mean, it's pretty obvious what's being done. But again, like if somebody is seriously sexually harassed, you don't make fun of it. It's a serious issue.
Ryan Reynolds did in fact appear. He was at an award show, and I saw some headlines, which I'll put up here. When he was presenting the award to Wicked, he said that, you know, girls are not put on the same caliber, have to work harder, they're not treated as equals, etc., etc. Is this another jab? I don't personally think it is. Two female leads in this film. You got Ariana and Cynthia, amazing powerhouses of voice and acting capabilities that I think it would have just, it's very fitting to, you know, bring up that point of the fact that men and women are not treated as equal in the movie sphere. It might be coming from a slightly emotional place from him, but I don't think that was a direct link. That's just what I think, though.
Wicked is a musical, and I feel that they've been very open about that.
Also have Justin Baldoni, who there was a leaked voice memo, and this voice memo was going to the Dream Team, which was made up of his editors, Wayfarer Studios, his whole team. They called the Dream Team in the lawsuit. And he was not allowed to appear on the red carpet at the same time as Blake Lively. Had an after party which Wayfarer Studios paid for, which they were not allowed to attend, so they then had to create another one because Blake Lively didn't want to be around Justin whatsoever.
It would have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life career-wise. I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour. I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. We start laughing because of the ridiculousness of this whole thing. On a night that was supposed to be so materialistically joyful, I was in the basement with the people that I love the most, and we were all joyful and laughing. None of that shit matters. We're in this business because we're artists, and we believe in what we do. I believe that will follow each of us, and that truth will prevail, and that light and love will win.
I feel like you can put that into two different camps. Is it because of the sexual harassment? Is that the reasoning why, you know, she took the cast and she didn't want anything to do with him and shunned him to the basement? Or, which is what Brian Friedman is saying, basically she just took over the whole entire film and she just wanted it for herself. She wanted to become the star of the moment.
How unusual is it, as you allege in your lawsuit, to have an actress come in and start editing scenes, taking over the final cut?
I've never seen it before in my 30-plus year career in Hollywood. As the time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer, went and got, the dailies. She started to make edits. People hired, like human beings, actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as editors. She wanted to be part of that team. The next thing you know, she took over the editing. She started making threats that she wouldn't promote the movie, wanted to be in control of marketing of the movie, that she would do nothing in terms of promotion unless she was the actual editor. She came up with her own cut of the film, which is, you have a director who has a cut, and she had a competing cut.
According to his documents, Blake Lively didn't even want him at the premiere whatsoever. They were put in different viewing places, and he was with his friends and family in the basement, and that's when he then did the recording. Also, just want to add as well, is that Brian Friedman says that Blake Lively, and is this true, is this not, Blake Lively had never read the book before she went on to this project.
The unfortunate thing is she actually didn't read the book and didn't understand what the book was about.
Now that would make sense considering her edit, her final cut of it is very, very different to Justin Baldoni's. Unfortunately, we're never going to be able to see Justin Baldoni's because Blake made Justin axe out his cut, the director's cut, so that she could have hers, even though Justin's performed better with an audience, prior to release. Apparently she'd never read the book. I'm going to need a bit of clarification on it, because yes, in a lot of cases you're just like, well, of course you never read the book because of the way it was promoted. Promoting it in a way of, oh, grab your florals, and then she had the alcohol line, and then the hair care line, which I definitely saw. Her PR team, Leslie Sloan, whatever her name is, they were alleging that basically that whole entire bit with the internet bagging on her, like really not liking her, not liking how she promoted the film, not liking the hair care product, not liking the fact that she was linking alcohol with some of the alcohol names. She was actually changing it to some of the characters, which people once again did not appreciate, because this film is about DV. Okay, alleging that Justin Baldoni's side planted all of those stories and made the public turn against her. I think she did that to herself, the smear campaign side of it. You honestly think that what we were given was what she was showing. So all the interviews was very much how she decided to present herself, the way that she just conducted herself around that whole premiere.
If we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity in public, we only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys. But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. Someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you. What's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How,
like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share? Or I could just location share you, and then we could I'm just curious
just social security number.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, are we talking logistics? Are we talking emotionally?
It's a real interesting plot point. Did she ever read the book? I don't know. I feel like if you're going to do a movie, and even though, yes, it's been adapted into a script, although Ryan Reynolds did come along and rewrite a load of it during a writer's strike, it would make a bit more sense if she'd never read the book whatsoever and she's then adapting it, and it's just not clicking with people.
What has been the best part in making this particular movie?
I've noticed so many beautiful crystals on teeth. Is that a big fashion thing?
After all is said and done, all right, so Blake Lively has now come out, and Blake Lively's lawyers condemn more attacks from Justin Baldoni's team, not a he said, she said. So until Justin Baldoni comes out, and as his lawyer Brian puts it, they're going to be releasing every single text message that has ever been sent between the two. It's going to be trial by public opinion, is what it really feels like. Like, this might not even make it into court. This might just become a trial of public opinion at this point.
There are evidence for all these points. There are text messages for all these points. And unlike any case that I've handled in my entire career, it's the one case we're going to put every single text message, every single document, everything on a website for everyone in the public to read, come to their own conclusions.
What they're alleging is that, you know, it's not a he said, she said. They're still standing very firm in the fact that she was sexually harassed, did have a smear campaign done against her, and it's still going on. So now, of course, with Justin Baldoni, with him and him suing the Times and putting, you know, some evidence out there to dispute some of what Blake Lively was saying. They're now saying that the backlash that Blake Lively is now getting with people going, wait, hold on a minute, why did you edit those text messages? They're basically saying that the backlash that is now happening is Justin Baldoni putting out more smear campaigns. I don't agree with it. People are just now coming across new evidence and maybe changing their mind. And I think that is what is going to happen. You can't say that every single little thing is a smear campaign. They also go on to say a classic tactic to distract from allegations of this type of misconduct is to blame the victim by suggesting that they invited the conduct, brought in on themselves, misunderstood the intentions, or even lied, the team wrote. Another classic tactic is to reverse the victim and offender and suggest that the offender is actually the victim. These concepts normalize and trivialize allegations of serious misconduct. And I think in a lot of cases, yes, that can definitely happen. And I do think that only time will tell, based on more evidence, on whether or not what they're saying actually holds any weight. That's pretty much all I've got for you today. What do you guys think of Justin Baldoni's leaked audio? Has your opinion changed on the whole situation? What do you think is going to happen? Do you reckon they're actually going to sue Ryan Reynolds for the portrayal of Justin Baldoni? I think that would be incredibly difficult to prove. I'm not going to lie. I think that is basically just like a one-up with the lawyer thing, unless they had like text messages discussing it. how are we ever going to prove that? But either way, I think that that is quite an entertaining plot point. I did not see that one coming. Let me know down in the comment section. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.